the workers would come home, half of the week's wages had gone up in drink. Women were outraged. They had to feed their families, clothe their children, pay for household expenses. And this was a terrible blight on the families that were starting out in America. Well, along came people like the Feldman brothers who decided that they would begin the cash checking business and cash checks and give cash minus a small percentage. And in fact, they went to the businesses and they said they would take the checks on Monday, cash them, return with the appropriate cash levels for each individual. And some businesses decided to take them at their word and tried them out. And sure enough, they were honest, they were reliable, and they took a small percentage. And it worked out well for everybody. The wives were happy. The men didn't have to go to the bar to cash the check. The men were happy. They had the cash, and their families were happy. And the bosses were happy. They were all together thrilled that they could do this for the families of the workers. Well, one business told another business. And the Feldmans soon had a lot of referring business. So much so, they could not keep up with all of the orders. They hired as many of the family as possible, outfitted them with cars, and of course gave them the rudiment necessary equipment, a gun, a uniform, but it wasn't enough. They had to have more workers. So began the process of screening their drivers, for their drivers had to have impeccable records with squeaky clean credentials. Honesty was above all. Honesty, integrity, certain sense of law and fairness, and fearlessness, not to be afraid of being attacked. So, with this profile necessary, they went to examine various applicants for the jobs that they presented. One of those applicants passed every test with flying colors and was hired, and he seemed to be on the up and up when, 3 weeks into the job, he had about $1.5 million in the car. He pulled out his gun on his partner, told him to get out of the car that he was taking off. Let him off in the middle of the highway, miles and miles from any phone booth, from any police station. By the time the co-worker had gotten to the police, it was several hours later. The man had to jump. They didn't know which way he went, north, south, east, or west. He could be anywhere. Where? And by the way, this was in New Jersey. The brothers were faced with a tremendous dilemma. All of their wealth they had put into their business. They were licensed by the state, but they were not bonded. They were not insured. And since they were not insured, any loss they had to come up with. And $1.5 million in cash was all the assets that they had put together. This loss would drive them out of business because the next week they couldn't cash a check. They had no funds. This is Monday. What are they supposed to do? So, they didn't know what to do. They called the police called the FBI. The FBI scratched their head and said, well, kiss the money goodbye. We may find the car. Money's gone. Money's gone. Business is gone. What do? What happens when a Jew finds himself in a position where he doesn't know what he can do? He's got to pray. Who does he pray with? The rabbis. They call up the rabbi. Rabbi, this is Joe and Jack Feldman. We got a problem. Come over here quick. Rabbi comes over. Hears the story. He shrugs his shoulders. Says, what do you want me to do? He says, give us a blessing. Tell us what to do. There's got to be something in those books that can tell you what to do in such a case. So he says, look, I haven't learned those books that can tell me what to do in those cases. There's only one man that I know that can answer this kind of question, and that's Rabbi Schneerson, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. You want, I can call up his office, I'm known to them, and I'll ask for a blessing for you and see what the Rebbe says. They had no choice. They agreed they would abide by whatever the Rebbe suggested they do. Called up, got the answer a couple of minutes later, check your tefillin and mezuzahs. So they had to check the tefillin, send it to a scribe, took down their mezuzahs. The rabbi said, wait, a lot of places here have no mezuzah on the doors. Got to get new mezuzahs. So they put up new mezuzahs in their houses within a day, checked the tefillin, and they waited. Tuesday goes by, Wednesday goes by, Thursday morning. Tomorrow is payday, and that's it. All of their assets will be lost. What do? Call up the rabbi. Rabbi, we've been waiting almost 3 days. Your chief rabbi, he said to put up mezuzahs. That's what we did. Check the tefillin. We did. No. By the way, the Rebbe said they shouldn't worry. They'll get every penny back. So they're waiting for the money to come back. What do? They're demanding of their rabbi. Go call that rabbi. He went ahead and forced us to put up thousands of dollars of mezuzahs that we couldn't afford. And now nothing's happening. You got to get that rabbi on the phone. Well, their rabbi calls up the Rebbe's office. Rebbe's office goes to the Rebbe. The Rebbe says, I don't understand what they're asking. I answered that question already. In other words, the Rebbe's answer was, check your mezuzahs. What kind of an answer is it? They already put up the mezuzahs. Oh, everybody has a religious relative. This time it was their mother. Mrs. Feldman, the elder Mrs. Feldman, says, hey guys, what about the businesses? Did you put in mezuzahs in all the doors in the businesses? What do you think, Ma? We're stupid? Rabbi said we put up mezuzahs we put up mezuzahs even in the business. Huh? What about the vault room? The room where you keep your cash. The cash room? That don't need a mezuzah. Does it, Rabbi? Well, the rabbi asked him, how big is the cash room? Well, it's about 8 by 8. 8 by 8 needs a mezuzah. What kind of door does it got? Well, regular door, just with a big bolt. Got a regular door? Needs a mezuzah. Oh, they rush and they get the scribe to put the mezuzah on, and they wait. 2 hours later, they get a call from the West Coast. Mr. Feldman, yes, this is the FBI calling. We want to tell you something. Your car that was stolen by your employee, well, he went west. West, go west, young man. And he went west. Around Kansas, he picks up a hitchhiker a day or 2 ago. The hitchhiker had a gun. Proceeded to shoot him. Hitchhiker takes the car, was oblivious that in the back trunk of the car was $1.5 million in cash, and he drives to California. Driving in California, a few hours ago, policemen noticed that one of his back lights are out. So the policeman flashed the man to stop, to tell him that his back light is out on one of the sides. Well, this guy just killed a guy in Kansas. He thought the police were after him. He takes off. The policeman takes off after him. Goes on a wild chase. Finally, the car meets up with a tree it couldn't knock over, and the tree sends the hitchhiker to Kingdom Come. We come on the scene. We trace the car to you guys, and all the money was there to the last penny. They didn't lose a cent.